The Feast of Passover, Part 1, Exodus 12, 1 through 28. The Passover meal is held as an annual event in each Jewish household. The meal commemorates the deliverance of and exodus of the children of Israel from the dominion of Pharaoh as slaves in Egypt around 1450 BC. The first Passover is described in Exodus chapter 12. One lamb was slain for every household, and the blood painted onto the lintels and doorposts. Exodus 12:13. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, the Lord told the children of Israel. They were to eat the lamb with unleavened bread and bitter herbs, in haste prior to their departure from Egypt. The eating of unleavened bread was to continue for 7 days, as their sustenance to exit Egypt and escape Pharaoh's slavery. God ordained that the children of Israel would commemorate the Passover every year to remember their deliverance almost 3,450 years ago. Commemoration of the Feast of Passover was the first major event after the tabernacle was first built. The building was finished on schedule 2 weeks prior to the first anniversary of the Exodus. The tabernacle was consecrated and anointed with oil, Exodus 49, a definite foreshadow of the Anointed One, the Messiah, the Christ. Aaron and his sons, the Levites, were also consecrated and anointed to serve in the tabernacle, Exodus 40:13. During the first 4 decades of the tabernacle, all of the children of Israel were together in one place in the wilderness to commemorate Passover. Once they had entered into the good land of Canaan, Jerusalem eventually became the focus of worship at the time of King David around 1000 BC. From then onwards, the Feast of Passover was to be held every year in Jerusalem in accordance with God's word to Moses in Deuteronomy 16:1 through 8. The ordinances of the Passover specified in Exodus chapter 12 state that the lamb was to be examined for 4 days to ensure it was without blemish. Then at evening, Jewish day begins at sunset, the lamb was to be slain, and its blood applied to the lintels and doorposts, and then roasted for sustenance for the Exodus journey. Today, the Passover Seder meal follows a fairly standard pattern in every Jewish household. There is a Haggadah, which means telling, portraying, see Galatians 3:1, to guide the proceedings, which is based on 4 cups. At the start, candles are lit and a prayer is offered to bless the first cup of wine. Blessed are you, O Lord, our God, King of the universe, the Creator, who brings forth the vine from the earth with its fruit. Genesis 1:11. The first cup is called the cup of sanctification, signifying I, the Lord, will bring you out from under the yoke of slavery. Exodus 6:6. This was God setting the children of Israel apart for himself. Next, all the participants wash their hands. Who may stand in his holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. Psalms 24:3 through 4. This was probably the point where Jesus washed his disciples' feet. John 13:4 through 12. Then each person takes some herbs, usually parsley, and dips them into salt water and eats them. Matthew 26:23. Also, it was probably at this point that Jesus gave the sop to Judas. John 13:26. The salt water and herbs remind all present that Passover was originally eaten with bitter herbs. Exodus 12:8. The herbs are dipped in salt water to remember the tears as Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help went up to God. Exodus 2:23. In connection with the herbs, the Lord is remembered and blessed as creator of the first fruits of the earth. Next, the head of the family takes the middle one of the 3 flat cakes of unleavened matzah bread. He breaks it and puts one half aside, wrapped in a white linen cloth. The hidden bread is called the afikomen, meaning dessert. There are 3 pieces of bread to remember that the Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is the one who keeps his covenant. He it is that delivered the children of Israel from bondage. Exodus 6:2-9. But why is it the middle piece that is broken? This is because the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is an indication of the triunity of God. Just as Abraham was willing to offer up his only son, Genesis 22:2-12, so God the Father willingly offered up his Son, Jesus, John 3:16. The end of the Feast of the Passover, Part 1.